Check, check, check.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Check, check.
I've never woken up in that. So after I during the day. Yes.
Hey everyone, it's 7:30, so please find your way to your seats. I want to let everyone know that I have already opened the Zoom room. If you would please all go ahead and join the Zoom room, that way I don't have to ask later on when we begin voting on legislation. Thank you. Both microphones are on and working. So for any report that includes colleges, I request that you come up. What's that? Oh, okay. I request that you speak into the microphone. Yes, Kyla. If your college has no report, you're free to just stand and say it at your table. All right, everyone. I do not yet have my gavel this evening. I apologize. So this meeting will now come to order, so all talking needs to cease immediately. We're going to begin by utilizing open forum as we always do. If anyone would like to utilize open forum at this time, you may do so now.
Good evening in War Eagle, everyone.
War Eagle.
It has been forever since I had time to actually come to one of these meetings myself. It's been like a month, I think. I hope everyone had a happy Halloween, and I hope everyone is enjoying the colder weather and looking forward to comfy sweaters and hot chocolate. Spectrum, I think I should have had a representative coming and speaking on my behalf over the last month, as I've been very busy. But what I have to report tonight is that our meeting this Wednesday, Mel 3550, 6 p.m., will be about how to become more independent. A lot of freshmen and, sometimes older college students who've just now moved out of their parents' house or are on their own for the first time are having troubles becoming independent, figuring out what that means, getting basic adult things set up like insurance, bank accounts, and such. And also the holidays are coming up, and so some people might not be able to go home for the holidays and are having to figure out plans and scheduling and everything for holiday celebrations on their own. So if you want any helpful information, if you're having troubles like this, or if you want to contribute to the discussion with any tips or helpful tricks that you've learned or picked up, we would greatly appreciate it. Like I said, Mel 3550 this Wednesday at 6 p.m. We also do have a Zoom component if you're not able to attend in person. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I was just going to remind you about the insurance seminar, the student insurance seminar tomorrow. Even if you don't have the United Healthcare Student Resources insurance, which is what is available for students here, the first two panels first two sessions are really going to be helpful and informative. If you want to learn more about just all the different terminology, there'll be a presentation from 9 to 10 a.m. by the student insurance coordinators, just to help with better understanding insurance. I know that I've had my own insurance for 7 years, and I get tripped up on some of the terms. And then from 10 to 11, we have really great panelists. We have the Dean of the Graduate School, a representative from the United Healthcare, the two insurance coordinators we have here at Auburn, and then also Dr. Cam representing the Med Clinic. So if you're interested or know someone who is, please let them know. We'll be upstairs in the ballroom B. Yep.
Yes, thank you. I sent that information out to all of your school councils. they should have relayed that information to your colleges through an email listserv. If they have not, just reach out to Elizabeth with more information on that, because it's a pretty unique opportunity. All right. Would anyone else like to use open forum at this time? All right. After open forum, we move into roll call. So at this time, I'll once again remind everyone, I have already opened the Zoom room. If you would please go join the Zoom when we have to inevitably vote. With that being completed and said, I will now ask for the approval of the minutes. Those were sent out electronically in the recap email after last week's meeting, as well as in the information email sent tonight. Were there any additions or corrections to be made to those minutes? All right, awesome. Thank you, guys. The minutes are approved and corrected in that case. From here, we will move to reports of executive officers, and this will begin with the president, Mr. Rhett Wagner.
Hey guys, how y'all doing today? Good. Okay, well, a couple updates from me. First thing is there will be the November meeting of the Board of Trustees. That's next week on Friday. The date is November 12th, if that helps. But one event kind of surrounding this Board of Trustees meeting that Michael, I think, will talk about later in more depth, but it's the MPHC Legacy Plaza groundbreaking ceremony. The MPHC Legacy Plaza is something MPHC has worked very hard on for the past couple of years. And essentially what it is just a common space for people to gather, for MPHC to gather on campus, a meeting space. And Michael can talk more about kind of what will happen there later. But anyways, this groundbreaking ceremony is going to happen at 2 p.m. And it'll be, the location of this plaza is right next to the Edge and next to the ACLC, the classroom building that's not quite finished yet. So if y'all wanted to go there, that would be awesome. Again, 2 p.m. on Friday, November 12th. And if you do go, you'll probably be good and whatever. I'm pretty sure it's just open to whoever wants to go. But if you wanted to wear business casual, there are going to be people, trustees in suits. We'd love for anyone to have the opportunity to meet some of the folks who will be there. So next thing up is, I'm sure y'all have heard different things about the vaccine mandate that went out not last Friday, but the Friday before. Essentially, in short, in keeping with an executive order from President Biden, Auburn's going to have to make sure that every person on staff who gets a check or gets paid by Auburn University is fully vaccinated by December 8th. That's the SparkNotes version of what's happening. I'd be happy to explain more, but I wanted to gather just some questions y'all might have about what that means, different, how they're enforcing it, different things like that. Any questions y'all have would be awesome. If you don't have any right now, oh, we got one? Nope, stretching. Any questions? Yes. That's a great question. Oh, that's one I'll be able to bring back. I haven't heard of any expedited option. I think in the sake of making sure everyone gets checked, they're planning on the human resources liaisons are going to go person by person, and it'll be, show your vaccine card, and you'll be good. But I'll check that. Any other questions? Kyla? Yeah, that's a great question as well. So I think they're working on more details of this as we speak, but as it stands now, this is somewhat of a prerequisite's a good word for it, for hiring at Auburn. And another thing to think about is with SGA officers as well as other organizations' officers receiving a stipend, it's also something you're going to have if you're wanting to run for a position as well. Or hold a position anyway, be appointed to SGA exec, whatever it might be. Another question? Lucy?
Surrounding this, what does the process look like? Like, if employees don't start, they're going to get fired, or is it just like, are you already fired?
Yeah, so it will mean that you would essentially be terminated if you aren't going to get the vaccine. So the way it'll work, and from what I've heard, there's a lot of stuff that's still up in the air, but it seems like on December 8th, if you do not have if you're not fully vaccinated or haven't made a good faith effort to be vaccinated, which essentially looks like one shot in your arm rather than two, if you haven't done either of those things, at that point your employment would be terminated. There are processes and then discussions happening about what would happen if you later get vaccinated. Would you be able to reapply for your position? Different things like that. But on the 8th, if you're not vaccinated or in good faith trying to get vaccinated, yes, your employment will be terminated. Yep.
Have they shed any light on like the boosters, booster vaccination or anything? Say someone was vaccinated, I don't know, back when it first came out, and then up to get a booster. Are they mandated to take that?
No, you won't be mandated to take the booster. If that was your question, so you just have to have to be considered fully vaccinated right now, it doesn't mean you're boosted, I don't believe. So I haven't heard anything about having to get a booster too. As far as I can tell, if you got one shot from J&J or two from Moderna or Pfizer, you're good to go. And that's on December 8th, or of course, if you have one but aren't quite fully vaccinated. Yep.
Was the exam good until December 6th? If a faculty member refuses to get vaccinated and they're wanting to provide the exam,
I'm going to write that one down. That's a good thought. Any other questions? Yes.
or graduate school. One other thing I think to consider is for those people who are submitting they're requesting to be
Exemption form.
Exemptions? Yes.
yeah, so an exemption. Will they be? I guess the question is like, will that be coming out like on a rolling basis? Because I know they put a specification that to make sure that every case is reviewed and determined
Yes.
to submit by the 15th. And so, say for example, someone submits on the last day, when would they still be able to, or hear back? Because then that
Yeah.
back when.
From what I've heard, it's 72 hours return time. That's what they've been able to maintain so far. And so maybe there's a flood that might make that a little slower, but 72 hours is about what should be expected. Yeah.
That makes sense, but what if, since you can't technically ask if you're vaccinated or not, there's like more employers can ask. I was talking to my boss today, and like she won't know how many of us like what we were doing by the 8th, which would put pressure on our students, for instance.
Yeah. So I will. So to start at the top there, as far as I understand, HR is going to be able to legally ask you, can you show us your vaccine card? Which should solve a lot of the problems. I don't know if it's just HR who's able to do that, and maybe that's a question I can ask. And just more clarification on the distinction between that, because I know Alabama law, I think that's what you're talking about, says you can't ask if you're vaccinated or not. But in terms of federal law, I think that supersedes, and that might be why they're able to ask you. So does that answer your question? There was more to it.
Kind of, basically the question is like for people, like for the person who's over my program, she's not HR, she's just part of like the volunteering. So she doesn't know how many of us are not vaccinated, so she won't know like by December 8th, she won't know until December 8th whether or not 3 of us are returning, 6 of us are returning, all of us are returning,
Gotcha.
that kind of deal. And like we're on a schedule, so that it's having.
Yeah. That's a great question, and I'm gonna jot that down. It might help to say I think they're gonna have they're gonna start asking and hopefully have all of that finished by November 15th. Was the day I've heard, so that should give a little more advanced time. But again, that's a question I can ask and maybe get some more results. Elizabeth.
I was just going to clarify that it's also any hiring that they do would go through HR anyway. They handle all the paperwork, so that would be the person.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, well, I'll try to get answers to all of those. But moving to our next point now, just wanted to encourage everyone in this, or make sure everyone in this room knows that major candidate signups are now available.
Major and minor.
And minor. Good point, Cole. Both those signups are available now. If you have any questions about, this room knows what it's like to run a minor campaign. If you want to ask me about what being on exec is like, what it looks like day to day, really any of us on exec, feel free to reach out and ask. We'd love to see people run. It's been an awesome experience for me, and would love to tell you all a little bit about that if that's something you're interested in. Last thing is BBM Food Drive has gotten me involved with a Pie a President campaign. And so essentially what that means is that it's a part of a drive fighting food insecurity. And if you want to donate money to see me get pied in the face on the concourse, the Venmo for that is at AUBBFD. And essentially every $100 that's donated with my name in the caption, I'm going to get a pie. So if y'all want to see that happen, feel free to donate. It's going to a great cause. Other than that, I think I'm done. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Next, we'll be hearing from Mr. Michael Thomas, who is our EVP of Initiatives.
Okay, War Eagle, everybody. A couple quick updates. So with the grade replacement policy, we were able to meet with Dr. Knoll about the feedback from the Academic Standards Committee. And so with that, we're now going to have 2 weeks to kind of compile all that, improve our policy, and represent that to the committee. Next up, we've heard a lot about the line idea, basketball line. So I briefly wanted to explain what the idea is. How many people have heard about it? What the idea is? So not everyone. Basically, a lot of you've experienced pre-COVID basketball lines, but before COVID, you'd have hundreds and hundreds of people lined up to get into the arena before the game started, and once they started letting the first people in, everyone would just bull rush the front, and you waited in line for not the most accurate depiction of how long you've been there. So now kind of what we propose to people in the athletic department is an idea where we would use metal gates like the facilities has to surround the green space of that village area. And when you came in to wait in line, you would receive a colored wristband. So you could receive blue as the first 150 people. Next 150 people may receive green, then orange, and so forth. So then once you get into the waiting area, you would then be able to hang out, mingle, maybe provide cornhole, anything like that, that would kind of enhance the waiting experience. And come time for the game to start or to let people in, they would call on the colors, and so you'd enter with that band. So the idea behind this is really to just let people enjoy waiting in line all day, even when it's freezing cold. Because if anyone remembers the Kentucky game several years ago, that's how it was. Second, everyone in here, I think I've asked this question, but everyone signed up for the Lyft rideshare program. So just for context, we asked Freshman Forum tonight how many of them were signed up, and the answer was 0. We didn't have a single one of them signed up. So right now we're waiting on the marketing request. And so as soon as that gets in, we'll be able to get everything approved. We're going to keep pushing that out. But I wanted to encourage everyone that you do get 10 free rides from the downtown area up to 4 miles home. So take advantage of that. And how many people are in other organizations besides SGA? So those are all great other avenues that you can tell people about this program. Lastly, we have a student center meeting coming up. So a lot of you that hang out here, study here, see what it's like day to day in the student center. If you have any feedback regarding outlets not working, maybe we need more outlets. Maybe there's water fountains not working, toilet paper's out, anything like that, please send that my way. Or any of this, you could also probably send to JD, but we'd like to be able to communicate and really help the Student Center keep being the place that people want to be at. And lastly, I'm going to briefly touch on the Legacy Plaza that's happening next week. So that's the groundbreaking ceremony. This has been fully piloted by the MPHC exec and former groups thereof. But I've kind of sat in just helping from a facility standpoint, just providing whatever they need. But I'm going to read a quick little excerpt about it. MPHC Legacy Plaza will celebrate the past, present, and the future of Black Creek letter organizations of the campus of Auburn University. These organizations have impacted Auburn's campus since the first organization arrived in 1972, with their commitment to civic engagement, leadership, and academic achievement, and providing a sense of belonging for students. This project will stand to cultivate, educate, and represent these organizations' rich history at Auburn while providing a space for organizational members, alumni, and members of the Auburn family to gather and learn and celebrate their community. So last Monday, we were able to finalize the designs for this plaza. And just for context, we've been through several different designs. So this was a great kind of milestone for the project to finally have the completed designs. This is what it's actually going to look like come next semester. So yeah, that's next Tuesday or next Friday afternoon, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next will be Mr. Steven Sadie, our treasurer.
Hey everyone, we've got Beat Bama Food Drive, donate $1. So I know that that's not necessarily like really under SGA, but they work with us each year to kind of get set up, donate $1. So if you're not familiar with what that is, like all of the C stores, just like down below, usually sometimes, and they're working on it right now for like the Edge, stuff like that, whenever you swipe in using dining dollars, you also get the option to donate $1. And so what that goes to is Beat Bama Food Drive that goes to food insecurity. Just to kind of clear up like one of the questions, like why don't we have it at like Chick-fil-A or something like that. Main reason with that is that they have sorry, it's buzzing. Main reason with that is that they have a franchise fee whenever you donate $1. So like if you donated $1, it would still take off like 30 cents, 40 cents, whatever. So it wouldn't really make sense to be using that through Chick-fil-A or something like that. So we have that coming up, and then we have concessions board that Red and I will be sending in next Monday. And essentially what concessions board is, it's like all the money that comes from concessions, from different things like that on campus, and different organizations, different groups are able to request funding through that. And so Red and I will sit on that, give a little bit of feedback from a student perspective to the things that we think are a priority for students and just campus life in general.
Thank you. Next, we're going to hear from Miss Molly Boudreau with initiatives. I'm so sorry, outreach. Very different things, you guys.
Hey y'all, I hope you're doing well. Not a ton of things from outreach this week. Just Fall Feast is coming up on that Monday of Thanksgiving break, and that is open to all of y'all. If you happen to be in town or you're going home to family nearby, we definitely encourage y'all to come and spend some time with us. It's a great way to just meet some other students from different parts of campus and to kind of build that culture on campus. We'll be there. Would love to see y'all there. Mocha's with the Mayor was last week, so thank you so much to the teams that stopped by. Mayor Anders was so excited to see y'all and talk to y'all. He had a great time. We have Learning to Lobby Day coming up on Veterans Day, which is November 11th, and we'll have some lobbyists and legislators in town, so that's really exciting. And then besides that, just keep submitting those Auburn answers. We got some awesome dining submissions the other day. So Michael's been able to, work with his team on getting those translated to administrators. It just really truly helps our teams do their jobs when they have student feedback. Snaps to that. And as you guys are doing your Edge office hours, if you're hearing feedback, please submit those as anonymous Auburn Answers submissions. That just makes it a lot easier for us to have it compiled and make sure that we're sharing information between Senate and Cabinet. But that is all, and I hope you all have a great week.
Thank you, Molly. Next will be Mr. Tyler Ward with Cabinet Administration.
Hey guys, again, like Molly said, not much for me. A few things that we have going on. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Better Relations Day, but that's coming up. It's one of the ways that we get to collaborate with Alabama and UGA, so super excited for that. Be on the lookout. May need you guys' help with some things along those lines. Freshman Forum came to our cabinet today, and then they're going to be having family groups this week, and so that's in full swing. Hope you guys are enjoying getting to know your mentees. And then on the communication and marketing side of things, just working on ways that we can get the information out of SGA better. Hope you guys are looking at the This Week in SGAs and sharing those graphics, and keep telling people about the minor candidate positions that are going to be opening soon. That's all I got. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tyler. All right. That will conclude our exec reports from the evening, so we will now move into reports from our colleges. Don't forget to come up to the front if you have a report to give and speak into one of the microphones. We'll begin with at-large.
Matthews at large. Not really anything from the at-large senators this week, but just I got a reminder this morning of how finite life is on this earth and how it can be taken away so quickly. So I just kind of wanted to share that anytime you see your friends or family, just reach out to them, give them a call, give them a hug, just tell them you love them, keep your friends and family close. because our time here really is limited and it's a lot shorter than we think. We think being young, 18 to 22-year-olds, that we're gonna live forever, but it's really, it can be taken away so quickly. So just tell your friends and family you love them. Just give them a hug the next time you see them.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from agriculture. Thank you. Business.
This is the perfect size. Brown business. Okay. So feedback that I've gotten for like the past 3 weeks, like especially last week and more this week, anyone I've talked to, is just like they're saying that the dining prices are just very, very high, which granted I do understand. They hadn't been updated in like 7 years, but most of the people I've talked to are already out of dining dollars, and instead of getting more, they're just like bringing snacks onto campus, so they're not even buying dining. And so that doesn't really seem like it's, I don't know, we'll probably talk to dining about that this week. Last week got canceled, but that's been like every single person I've asked for feedback, literally every single person has said, like, I'm already out of money and I'm having to load more, like my parents won't load more, so I'm having to use my own money. Just things like that, just trying to represent the students. Also with the outlets, the outlets in Louder, there's only outlets at the back of the room. So this has happened to me like 4 times in class. My computer, granted the battery isn't the best, it dies, and so I have to, one time I left class, other time I had to take notes on paper and then transport it to type it into my laptop, and or go to the back, and I couldn't really hear the teacher. But that happened to other students. There are other students in the back of the room also charging their computers. So I actually talked to the Business Schools Council about this like 2 weeks ago, and they said that they would work on that, but they said they thought it would be a more long-term thing. But that is awesome that we'll be working on that. That's all.
Thank you, Lucy. Next we'll hear, we are actually in the process of searching. I've contacted the dean, and we should have 2 new CADC senators selected soon. So next we'll hear from COSAM.
Nyack, COSAM. Sorry, that was a little close. Looking back and just kind of consulting some of the counselors with registration coming by, really the only questions I've had during office hours were about registration. And so something I'd really like that, if y'all could really get onto is just making sure to spread the word that there are certain seminars, specifically FYE is holding and has held to help students with registration. I think that's just something that across the board can really help all of y'all and your concerns. But that's pretty much it. No report from COSAM specifically right now.
Thank you. Next up, we'll hear from education.
Education, no report.
Thank you. Engineering is next.
Wait.
Either one works.
This one's so small. Okay. Can I? I'm just gonna hold it. That's cool. Second year engineering. For registration, we actually have help labs for our college, so I don't know if y'all do those, but that are helpful especially for freshmen that are like not familiar with Tiger Scheduler at all. Also with registration, I know mechanical has an issue with teachers not being posted before registration. I don't know if that happens in other colleges, but it would be really cool if you could let me know. Because that's happened like the past 3 semesters for me, and it's getting kind of annoying. Also, we're having engineering town hall on November 10th, and they're gonna try and bring food and drinks and stuff like that to try and get more people to show up. And we're gonna let y'all know if that actually works and if we get more people to show up. Last thing, Engineering Spirit Week is also next week, so that'll be fun. That's all. I'm gonna struggle to do this, aren't I?
Thank you, Emma Kay. Please make sure we're showing every college who comes up the same attention and support while they're giving their report. After engineering, we'll hear from Forestry and Wildlife Sciences.
Starling School of Forestry and Wildlife Sciences. Sorry about my voice, you guys. Got really excited for that game Saturday. I don't know about you guys. But as for School of Forestry, not a whole lot. I've still just been working with parking, transportation, and dining issues that I've been hearing. I did hear today from our vice president that apparently Terrell is opening from 10 to 2 now and potentially offering burgers. Not quite sure about that. I'll have to go ask myself, but that's exciting news. And then in other news, I spoke with our student services director last week to kind of talk about the upcoming election and getting the word out there to our students that SGA is, open to participation from anybody. And our school was actually not aware that the elections were open for president and vice president of schools council as well. They didn't know that that election went through big SGA. They thought it was just senators. So I don't know if you guys need to clarify that with anyone in your school, but if you run into the same issue, just let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from the graduate school.
DeVore Graduate School. So most of what I myself and a few others with Graduate Student Council have been working on is the insurance seminar that's tomorrow. The really great thing is that the presentation slides, all of the handouts, and all of the recordings are going to be compiled together and made available to the insurance coordinators, which is going to be super helpful for them to share that moving forward with a lot of the students that they interact with. So I'm really excited that all the information is being updated. Outside of that, the graduate school, along with the professional schools and the Black Graduate and Professional Student Association, hosted a tailgate this weekend. There I got to speak with a lot of different students, and I heard a lot of feedback about mentorship. In that regard, just needing more support. A lot of students felt that their advisors just expected them to know what to do to complete a thesis or to complete a dissertation. But the reality is none of us have ever done that before. So they are really looking for just some more support from their advisors and a guide to mentorship. So kind of went in line with some of the work that we've been doing in academic affairs. And I think the only other thing is I got to have a meeting with Cole last week, got to share a few ideas, and we'll just be following up based on that. So I might have some updates from there. Other than that, I'm done.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Next, we'll hear from Human Sciences.
Williams, Human Sciences. Oh, that is loud. On the registration front, you know how just either this past year or a couple years ago, it went from courses, if a course ended in a 3, it was online, but now you have to look at the section number to know if it's online. Everyone tracking? Okay. Mm-hmm. So there was a course that I took online, and it's a prerequisite for another course, and I tried to register for it, and it was saying it was a prerequisite error. So if y'all could just look out for that and see if other people are having that issue, because we think it's just something with the registrar's office, with the course numbers, they aren't the exact same or whatever. So that's from a registration point. And then from a non-human sciences point, I should have said this during open forum, but Rhett and Michael reminded me that Legacy Plaza, so this is my invitation for y'all to come to Tiger Stomp. It's November the 12th at 7 or 8 or something like that. Yours truly will be on the stage. So, but just another invitation for y'all to come and see what NPHC is all about and some of the things that we do. That's it from me.
And we just passed the bill to fund it, so.
Oh yeah, it's free for everything.
Yeah, and that was because of us, so cool snaps to us. All right, thank you, Human Sciences. Next we'll hear from Liberal Arts.
All liberal arts, no board.
Thank you, Ryan. Next we'll hear from Nursing.
Accepted nursing, no board.
Thank you, Mary Logan. Next we'll hear from Pharmacy.
Nice Pharmacy. So I haven't gotten as much feedback as I would have liked on what it's like to be a new graduate student at Auburn. So I think I'm going to make a survey and send it out to the pharmacy students. And if you would like for me to send it to you as well, I am more than happy to. So just shoot me an email. Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, we have VetMed. Thank you. That will conclude our college reports for the evening. We will now move into our committee reports, and that will begin with academic affairs.
Matthews at large. I'll be giving Gavin's report. Our grad school mentorship survey has been approved by Dean Flowers and will be out at some point this week. We are preparing to bring the Canvas calendar resolution very soon, but we are revising it after talks with advisors. We are reopening the poll for the Canvas calendar initiative, hoping for more responses as we did not exceed 200 last time. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll be hearing from Budget and Finance.
Liaison at large carryover requests were due last week, so we have had almost all of those turned in. 2 will be coming through today as future orders, and then the rest of them should be coming through next week as future orders.
Thank you, Reese. We will now hear from Code of Laws.
Mathner Education, we really only have one thing this week, and that is that I met with Jamie last Tuesday to try and figure out exactly how we should go about with the schools council audits. And so just for some more clarification, whenever I'm referencing the schools council audits, I'm talking about the punctuation throughout the entire code when the phrase schools council is mentioned. All of it's inconsistent and a lot of it's incorrect, so we want to go through and basically just fix all of that. And then I'm also talking about in the actual schools council chapter where the number references are no longer correct after we reorganized it. So there's really only one number reference that we have to correct, and then all of those schools council punctuations. But after consulting with Jamie, we decided that it would not be changing any content or any interpretation of the content. And so what we're going to do is take every single spot in the code that Senator Turnipseed has highlighted that we need to investigate one by one and reevaluate and possibly correct. We're going to take those in committee meeting, about 15 to 30 minutes each committee meeting, and go through and correct all of those. And once we are done, we hope to be done by before we leave for break. So we hope to be done by then, and then Jamie's going to double check all of those before implementing them in the code. But if y'all have any questions about that, please reach out, but that's all from us this week.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from the DEI committee.
Belser Liberal Arts, a few things for me today. So firstly, Senator Seconder is looking into the code and how it can be used most efficiently to support the DEI committee. So that's kind of a general thing, but sort of looking into that. So it's like I guess sort of just looking at our code section and sort of what that means and how we can continue to fulfill that. Senator Neese has already talked about her work regarding first-year students and their experience getting oriented with coming to Auburn. Senator Jones his brief is almost complete on study spaces, and Senator Turnipseed will be making the presentation for that to present to all of you very soon. So very excited to see that, and that's going to be going with JD's committee. I've been gathering support and suggestions for special committees. I wrote a bill and sent it to Senator Mathner, so hoping to collect some feedback on that soon and seeing how we can engage that and get that done soon. Let's see, I've also been contacted by a senator about legislation for the Honors College to have a Senate seat. And so really excited to talk about that going forward. As well, my freshman mentee, Ann Claire, who I would like to commend. She's done a spectacular job. And she's not here, she's at our family group dinner for forum. But she had a few ideas about ways that we could support.
Matthews at large, just 2 things for student affairs. Michael spoke on the basketball lines, but if you still have any more questions or concerns, please reach out to Jake or myself and we can answer those for you. And secondly, Dining's big survey, that's out. I got it in the Auburn SGA email this morning and took it, so y'all make sure to take it and make sure that's one thing y'all can spread when you're doing your office hours.
Thank you. And I know, Lucy, did you ever get to them about a new QR code or a new graphic?
Yes, I emailed her. She didn't respond, and our meeting was canceled last week.
Got
so
it.
I'm going to ask her.
Got it. Let's do that. What I was looking for is a graphic that didn't necessarily have a QR code on it, but instead a graphic that included a message that said link is in bio, and then all of us as senators could put the link to that survey in our bio, which would make a lot more sense than a QR code, because how do you scan a QR code if you're looking at it on your phone? All right, last but not least, we have Graf with the executive committee.
Sullivan Engineering. So same thing as always. Obviously office hours are due. We'll be going through that. Kind of on the idea of office hours. I know we started the Edge. We're downing office hours, I guess 3 weeks ago now. And we kind of said it'd be a work in progress when we were doing it. Obviously it's an exciting opportunity, but we kind of want to be able to fiddle with it a little bit. to see the best way. So Senate Exec this past Thursday was talking about it, and really, obviously, I think one pretty clear piece of information just talking to y'all is that y'all prefer to be in the Edge than Village Dining. Mr. Glenn has always said that he does not, have a preference whether we're in the Edge or in the Village. So I think as long as we're getting feedback, that's okay. So we've decided that we are going to go only with the Edge. Also, to kind of make it where there's more availabilities for each senator, we set it up the first time with the 8 open slots, and that way, each one person can sign up. But we've decided that instead we're going to do live signups, so that way there's going to be more than 8 slots available, and then it's kind of like the first 8 that fill up will be the 8 dining spots for that week. Obviously, if not all 8 fill up, then not all 8 fill up. But I really encourage you to take an opportunity to, have this time to get feedback. Talking to all the senators that have done it thus far, it's been unbelievably useful in terms of getting information and getting feedback. And then I also encourage you to do it in groups. I think it's a lot easier for each of you to be more outgoing and talk to students and engage a little bit more. When you are in a group of 2. So we're gonna now do live signups. You mind pulling it up?
Yeah, so I'll talk just for a second. If everyone can please pull out your calendars and be aware, you can either go to the link that I sent out, which it was in the email included today that reminded you all of this, and sign up through that link there. Or you can now verbally tell Jamie to include your name. But here's the point. I know I've kind of been like, oh, please sign up. I want at least 8 people to say they're signing up right now, because as of tonight, as of today, I emailed Emmy, and we have fully planned out the video that is coming for you guys that's being filmed in collaboration with Campus Dining to get a new video posted on their social media and our social media for the first time about Senate office hours, specifically as they relate to dining office hours. So we're finally going to have, do you have a question?
Yes. So for us, it worked better whenever the times were from 11 to 12, because you can do it between the gap of classes. But if it's from 11:30 to 12:30 or 12:30 to
We can, thank you, we can edit that right now.
There's 2 committees that meet at 12.
Jamie, will you change that?
What is I'm hearing 8 of voices.
11 to 12, and then 12 to 1. Any other additions, edits that would potentially make this more accessible? It's all about being accessible to you guys. I know when we gave those times initially, when we were at Senate Exec, we were thinking, what would potentially be the greatest way we could have the most students accounted for? But obviously, it's still going to be heavily populated at any of these times. Yes, Andrew Sadie. Jamie, did you get that? Love the enthusiasm. Thank you, Senator Sadie.
Just for some clarification, those blacked out times, those are not available for sign up. We wanted to give dining some time, some turnaround time.
Sorry, JD.
So those are the morning, tomorrow morning, so we don't want to send it to them immediately and be like, hey, we're showing up in, a couple hours.
All right, Sydney.
We don't have any more spots. That's 8.
Oh, is that already 8?
Yep.
Wow. Well, congrats, you guys. Thank you. Well, is there? I hate to say it,
Andrew Sadie.
but it looks like we're gonna have to cut Andrew Sadie.
Yeah, I man out
because he's the only one without a partner. You know what? Leave his name for now. When I send Glenn this message in the morning, I'll ask if one more spot could be accounted for when I send out the list. Andrew, we're gonna pin you there for. Okay. I'll just ask him, but no worries. We'll just leave it there for now. Thank you all. That worked very beautifully. Considering how easily we were able to fill it out before we hit 8, when I send Glenn this link in the morning, I will potentially ask if, pending these office hours go well this week, we could look at maybe bumping that up. But thank you all for your participation, and those of you who just put your name up there, I do greatly appreciate it.
All right, and then last thing for me is, as always, Senate Exec will be meeting this Thursday at 7 a.m. So just doing some counting and looking at the calendar, we have 3 Senate meetings left this semester after today, which means we have 3 Senate Exec meetings left, including this one on Thursday. So if you haven't attended, I would approximate about 14 of you have, but I have that all written down, so I do know. You will need to attend one of the next 3. It's pretty much every Thursday until Thanksgiving break, and then we won't have another meeting after that for the semester. Another exec meeting, we will have another Senate meeting. With that being said, looking forward, we also only really have 3 Senate meetings next semester. I believe school gets back in session on the 12th. Could be wrong. I think it's Wednesday the 12th. So that would give us 3 meetings, including election week, and then you'll have 1 transition meeting after that. So really 4 meetings left after the break, 3 meetings left this semester. So we are dwindling down. So if you do have legislation that you're working on, I really encourage you to kind of double down. Make sure you are, putting in the time, making sure you know the time frame of your legislation, so that way we can get it passed this term. Thank you. They are in the student involvement suite. Just kind of like you walk straight back at that big table. That's pretty much the best place to do them. So I probably should have said that, honestly. Thank you.
All right. That will conclude Graph's executive committee report. We will now move into reports from our standing liaisons, and then we will move into current orders. So we'll begin with Mr. Luke Owens with the Honors College.
Owens, Honors Congress Liaison. Hey y'all, hope you all have been doing well recently. So the formal committee hosted a benefit night with Taco Mamas this past Wednesday. A percentage of all the sales went towards our highly anticipated 2022 Honors Congress Spring Formal. Everyone had a great time and we raised a lot of money for the event. I can't tell you the exact numbers, but I do know it was a lot. The Honors Congress also hosted a successful tailgate for the awesome Ole Miss game this past Saturday. There was great food, games, and a lot of fun as we got prepared to later watch our Auburn Tigers secure a huge top 10 win. Our next meeting will be this Wednesday, November 3rd, and we will have a select professor come to speak on mental health and wellness. Thank you, and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, Luke. Next, we will hear from Mr. Donovan Evans with BSU. Thank you. Next, we will hear from Ms. Leah Stewart with the Auburn Student Veterans Association.
All right, good evening, y'all. So other than the continued preparation for Operation Iron Ruck, which is getting closer and closer to that, we have an event coming up on the 12th for Veterans Day. It's like a Red Clay Veterans Day bash. I'm not sure on the times. I'll double check on that so that we don't overlap I can't remember the step.
Tiger Stomp.
Yes, Tiger Stomp. I apologize. And then on November 10th, there is a Marine Corps volleyball game happening. More to follow on the time for that. And then we are looking to partner with Skybar to do some fundraising as well for ASVA. So we're looking at doing something on November 11th for that. We're supposed to be meeting up with the owner of Sky and sometime this week. So more to follow. And November 21st, we have our last river float trip. If you guys want to be a part of that, just shoot me an email. L as in Lima, D as in Delta, S as in Sierra, 0024. And I will give you the information on that. And that's it. That's all I got for y'all.
Thank you. All right. This will conclude our committee, liaison reports for the evening. We will now move into current orders. Everyone should already have joined the Zoom. If you have not, please do so now. The first current order is PSSB 21-1101, presented by Sydney Williams for the Black Student Union, and then I will let her take it from there.
Okay, Williams Human Sciences. I'll just read it as is for now. I ask for approval of the following: the amount of $500 to be allocated to the Black Student Union from the reserve fund for the fall feast line item. This increase will allow for payment of plated dinners for 75 people at the event. And then I guess I have to.
You can immediately motion.
Okay. I move to pass this bill as written.
You make that amendment.
Oh, so sorry. I move to amend this bill. So what I want to amend it to, Fall Feast is an SGA event, LOL. Fall Forum is what BSU's event is. I don't know how that got through me, my committee, exec, everybody. So I move to change Feast to Forum in both the content of the bill and the title of the bill.
A motion has been made to amend the bill as listed. Is there a second? Second. It is moved and seconded to adopt the bill just read. Is there any debate? Excuse me, adopt the amendment just said, not bill just read. Is there any debate? All right, seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All of those in favor of amending the bill just as read by Sydney, please say aye. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no.
Okay. Well, I'll let her change it first.
Forum?
Yes, Forum. Okay. Now I move to pass this bill as written.
A motion has been made to pass the bill newly listed as written. Is there a second? Second. It is moved and seconded to adopt the bill as written. Is there any debate? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All of those in favor, please say aye and comment yes. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. Jed has informed me that the vote is good and the bill is passed as written. Thank you, Sydney. We will now move into future orders, which is pretty exciting. The first being PSSB 21-11-801, presented by Nick Seward for a Merges carryover request.
Seward Business. Ask for approval of the following: the carryover total of $1,476.85 for the Emerge Student Activity Portfolio for the 2021-2022 fiscal year budget. You want me to read out all the?
Yes.
Okay. So for Tiger Catering for the Discover Retreat, $619.60. For gas for the Discover Retreat vehicle, $40.65. For the ballroom fee, $150. Lunch and Learn table tents, $32.81. Strength codes for Transform, $79.96. Grant for NOTA registration, $350. And the Discover Retreat rental vehicle, $203.83.
Are there any questions?
Sullivan Engineering. The ballroom fee, is that the Auburn ballroom?
I'm not really sure. I think their leadership retreat is off campus. Reese, if you know more about that.
Doesn't mean at large, I want to say it's
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just going to question why we had like ballroom fee and then also grants, if that makes sense.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, thank you, Nick. You can go sit down. All right. We're moving into the second future order of the evening, being PSSB 21-11-0802, and this one is presented by Miss Mary Logan Sefton.
I'll make my way to the short people, Mike. Okay. Sefton Nursing. I ask for approval of the following: the carryover of a total of $16,805.69 for the service programs, student activity portfolio 2021-2022 fiscal year budget, alternative student breaks, leadership training, $474.90, Auburn University Dance Marathon leadership training, $714.01, Auburn University Dance Marathon Publicity, $362.50. Beat Bama Food Drive Events, $225. Beat Bama Food Drive Leadership Training, $395.53. Beat Bama Food Drive Publicity, $8,015.13. Impact Leadership Training, $25. Impact Shirts and Name Tags, $925. The Big Event Leadership Training, $736. The Big Event T-Shirts, $2,062.62. Risk Background Checks, $240. Risk Motor Vehicle Report, $2,610.
Are there any questions? All right, thank you, Mary Logan. This will conclude the future orders for the evening. We will now move into announcements from yours truly. All right, reel it in, everybody, let's perk up. We got 2 things to talk about today. Kind of 3. Number 1, I was so sad to see so many of you didn't text me your favorite candy. I guess I should have sent that out in an email. It's fine, I was gonna bring everyone their favorite candy today, but I'll just give everyone who hadn't sent it to me before the chance to do that after this meeting, because I did want to bring everyone their favorite candy. I thought that would be sweet. I also realized in my pursuit that it's going to be very expensive, but it's worth it. It's totally worth it. Now let's chat about, just quickly, about the declarations of intent. So as Rhett said, those are major and minor. And one thing that we want to do is make sure that we are not keeping this to ourselves, because that is not a good look to self-perpetuate the same members, correct? Yes. So my question is, raise your hand if you have spoken in your class about these forms. Opening. Really? Thank you, Andrew. A meeting does count. Yes. And Lucy spoke in her sorority meeting? Okay. So raise your hand if you've spoken in a group meeting that you're a part of. Okay, I like that. But you know what? You probably have a huge and much more broad range of students, interests, perspectives, backgrounds in a class than you do in a group of which you already have attained membership in. So all I ask is maybe consider sending out one of those emails, obviously. For example, I would not request that for my mammalian physiology class, where my professor is extraordinarily intense and refuses to do anything other than teach. But in my World History 1 class, where my professor showed up as Jason for the first 15 minutes of class, I know that he would be more than willing to let me speak to everyone about this opportunity. So I encourage you all to reach out to your professors, especially if you're like me in one of these undergraduate prerequisite classes where you have a huge broad range of probably freshmen and sophomores. That's really the pool we're trying to hit on. Not hit on, but target. Poor choice of words. Target in our us conveying this information. So with that being said, I would encourage you all to use that set pre-written little message that I had sent out in my recap email. Jamie helped me craft that as well. I think it does a pretty good job of explaining what your role is. And if your teacher has an issue with it, no worries. You do not need to pressure. But I really encourage you all to do that. That's the forms, dining office hours. I was saying it, I got a chance to mention it when Graf had come up here, is that truthfully, I really need everybody to be on their A game and make sure we're grabbing these signs, which I'm about to get to in a second. Because what we're really doing is Emmy is going to create with me tomorrow. Our meeting is set for tomorrow at 8 a.m. We're going to have the full script. I have it approved with the people at the edge. And what it's going to look like is, I know I keep saying it, but it really gets me excited because, God bless you. What really gets me excited is that we have not had yet in a while now a push for Senate or an explanation of Senate or an explanation of Senate's office hours put anywhere on Auburn's SGA social media or pages. So it's finally y'all's chance to be highlighted and spotlighted by our social media, and that's all going to begin with the advent of our office hour media going out everywhere. So we're going to get probably like 2 or 3 graphics that we all can share each week. So like a new graphic for just for the remainder of this semester, and that's going to accompany the main video, or like not a long video, but just one of those shorts you can post where we kind of explain what Senate office hours are. And I want you guys to be the main people speaking about this content. I don't want it to be me, because that doesn't make any sense. So we're going to have you guys at office hours, hopefully interacting. So make sure you're wearing business casual. Make sure you're showing up on time. You can eat while you do them. I just encourage you to obviously be thoughtful about that. Don't just sit down and have a full meal during the entirety of the hour. But as a point of what we're talking about during these hours, especially this week for the 8 of you who just, signed up, it's the forms. You should be walking around with your name tag on, asking students if they've heard about SGA. If not, let them know who you are, what you do, how you got your position, and let them all know that they can use you as a resource. Be throwing out your email like it's your job, because, fun fact, it is. And just give them your email, let them know that you're a resource for them. So, does that sound good? Finally, office hour signs. There are a few schools that have not yet picked up an office hour sign. They're sitting in my office. They're not even remotely the same color as the previous ones, which I don't know where that got lost in translation, but they're still the same exact sign, just a different shade. So be expecting an email if you're a college that has not yet picked up your sign. Remember way back when, it feels like a million years ago this summer, that I made you all find locations where those signs could be housed. I hope those are still applicable for the colleges that don't have one yet. I'm going to ask that this week you go pick up that sign, find a place to put it. Now conveniently that the village, the village isn't being used for dining office hours, we're only going to have the edge. I have a place that we're going to be able to set up those signs in the edge, so you guys don't have to take them from my office down to the edge. But this week that might not be a possibility yet, so please still go try and get one from my office. Or honestly, I can probably just email Glenn tomorrow. I'll keep you all posted on what ends up happening. But Senate office hour signs are here. Do great in dining office hours. Make sure everybody knows about the declarations of intent opening for minor and major. There's no hour requirements for those, by the way, like Miss Auburn. So as a freshman, I could run for SGA president. That's true. But also, I guess an important piece of information that Rhett conveyed tonight is that you will have to be vaccinated for major candidacy. So only the ones that get paid, which is me and exec, not Senate, not schools council. So, I'm not sure everyone was aware I got paid until right now. You are paid. All right, so with that being said, I don't have any more announcements. Jamie, do you? All right, Jamie doesn't have any announcements. So with that being said, be safe, be smart, and be kind. I hope you all have wonderful evenings. Let me know if you ever need anything, if you want to talk, if you have chemistry problems. I was a great chemistry tutor.
Thank you, Dad.